Aloha, aloha, aloha. It's me, Hamwise J, Einschwein, the pig detective. And I'm coming at you live and on arrival from sunny Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And I've been away for a while, I know. And I know that you've missed me. But the world's been quite chaotic. And because it's been so full of chaos, you must understand that the forces of light, such as I, well, we've been a bit busy. And the one problem, of course, is that so much stuff happens. Is whenever I do a show, something else happens, and so by the time I get that material prepped, another big event has happened. So yeah, here it is, the collected stuff of the newest Hamwise tour. First off, so Trudeau resigned. Hey, Waka Waka, hi-oh, how about that politician resigning? Oh my god, just as the world gets interesting, he leaves. It's kind of funny. The world's getting turned upside down and he just walks out and takes his chair while he's at it, sticking his tongue out at us. What a coward. What a coward Trudeau was, resigning, rather than just, and gracefully, facing the music for his 9 years of ineptitude. What a coward. What a total coward. And that's why everybody in Canada hates him, And, hopefully, he's enjoying his divorce and the loneliness from that. And realizing that he completely botched. He had one job, and that was to lead his country with dignity and to prosperity, and he botched that. Like, what a loser. Yeah, so he resigned just as Trump gets elected, too. So it's like, yeah, I guess he didn't want to be governor of Canada. He's not going to be governor of anything now. He's kind of just another schmuck like the rest of us. Except he's got $8 million richer, and he helped all his friends get a ton richer. So I guess I shouldn't complain or compare because he's richer than me and therefore a better person, right? No, this was a lot funnier when I was doing it on stand-up. Right? Anywho, okay, what do we got next? Okay, next is, Trump got elected, and he's going to declassify the JFK files, so I can finally talk about this. Just kidding. It's classified. Yeah, and so, Trump got elected, and I'm supposed to make jokes about that. But you know what the real joke is? That we're going to be the 51st state up here, and I finally get to be an American capitalist pig. Ba-dum-bum, hi-yo, oinkity oink, 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 oink. And I mean, I'm sorry, this is going to sound pretty anti-patriotic, and maybe I'll get arrested by the free speech police, since we don't have free speech in Canada, only freedom of expression. But you have to understand, the way that I look at it, my friends, is that we've basically been parasites on the planet. Canada is a parasite state. It is. It's a parasitic state. And so basically, when you think about it, like we take all the draft dodgers and everybody who doesn't want to fight and bleed for their countries, and we collect them all in one place. And so, it's kind of interesting that, now that we're having to maybe actually fight on our own, we're freaking out because it's like strange, like the second largest country in the world, but we have the smallest military. Like, I think Israel actually has more military than us. And they only have 8 million people? And so it's like bizarre, so bizarre. How bizarre, how bizarre. And so, because I own the rights to that song now, I can tell you what actually happens with the big lights part. But I'm not going to. I'm just going to do another cover of it. Just kidding, I don't own the rights to that. What am I even doing? And so every 5 minutes, they said, for this one, you should probably include a disclaimer that this is a comedy show and that you shouldn't take it seriously. Because I'm trying to make you laugh. Because if you can't laugh at the cluster F-bomb that is our reality right now, then you got more bigger problems than I thought. Boom, boom, um, okay. Um, Now what else we have here? Um, yeah, a lot of stuff that is happening isn't actually funny though. So it's hard to do comedy right now for me because it's like I'm kind of done with being upset. Now I'm just curious. I'm just like, well, let's see how this plays out. This might be really interesting. I hope it gets weird rather than worse. Like, I hope we get some aliens, not, and I mean real aliens, not the, knockoff aliens, or like, oh, they're, you know, like energy aliens that possess bodies that are invading our dimension from another one, and, nobody believes you that it's happening, but it is. And, or, what else? What's another good one? Oh, about not a good one. Or like they look like humans. Like it's like, or they don't really have any advanced technology. They can't do anything cool, but they're aliens and they're from an alternate dimension. It's like it'd be cool to have like real aliens. But then we would lose the Fermi paradox, and instead we'd have the I forget the name of it, but it was in that one science fiction novel where it's the whatever problem. Is it the Leibniz problem? Where it's like, no, it's not are we alone in the universe? It's like, how are we going to defend against all the aliens? So there's two universes, right? And so if you're in the Fermi paradox universe, congratulations, you get to have your own planet. And if you are in the Leibniz problem universe, then you're basically caught in the middle of an interdimensional war, and we have to use unconventional means to communicate with each other because everything's controlled by a kind of a weird alien. Like, they don't view us as really sentient because we're not self-aware enough to see that we're all connected as the same organism, and that we need to stop, killing each other and make world peace. Otherwise, they'll continue to, kind of harvest us and treat us like cattle. Because that's what we do to each other. And so what they do is they look at the society that they're, looking at or dominating is under their viceroy control. It's kind of like Sentinel Island. And they look at, how advanced they get, and they go, okay, well, how you treat the lowest person in your society is how we treat you. And so that's why they experiment on us and use us as guinea pigs. And because, there's people like me who get used like human guinea pigs. And everybody denies it and lies about it. But, I know the truth, and anybody who listens to this who's in the know also knows the truth. And guess what? There's people coming for you, and they're going to get you and your families. Ooh. I hope you enjoy falling down an elevator shaft. That's right. They know I told them everything, and they're very, very cross with what you were doing. Using someone as a guinea pig for so many years, not treating them like a person, making them be alone in their little guinea pig hamster wheel thing. And that's the thing, people say, oh, it's Hamwise, the pig detective, but it's actually a guinea pig, because I'm a human guinea pig. And now, the thing is, though, I'm not too bent out of shape about it, because how I lived and have lived for the last, what is this, 40 years? Well, soon, all of you and your friends and your neighbors too, and your children and your children's children will also live the same way that I've had to. So don't be too hard on yourselves about that. And this is where we have to stop and do another break. That, hey, remember, this is a comedy show. Remember that. And the joke of the show is you show it to somebody and you see if they take it seriously. And if they take it seriously, then they're part of the resistance and you can trust them. And if they don't take it seriously, then you know they're one of the interloper aliens from the outside that are gaslighting you, and you need to be nice to them. You need to take care of them. Take care of them in the most nicest way possible. Make them lots of flowers. Be kind to everyone, because when you do evil, you consent to have the same evil done unto you by a greater power. And so that's what happens in this universe. And so everybody who's listening to this, that's right. I know that it's probably in the future, and you're maybe pulling these files apart, these audios apart, trying to figure out, is this AI? Was this a real person? Well, I don't know if the truth matters as much as the message. And are you reading me loud and clear? Because if you take anything I say seriously, you might be on my most wanted list. Most wanted for being a dummy. Okay, what else we got? Then we got, so we got Mark Carney as our new El Presidente. And so now the thing is about Carney is we basically had what I would call like kind of a very odd election. So it's like all the competitors fell out of windows mysteriously. So like the leader of the opposition mysteriously has 100 new candidates appear in his own riding, and he gets ousted. The NDP party goes from 34 seats to 6, and like basically it's just I my opinion is, and is that basically he's the king's man. He's the king's man, and they've sent him over here to right the ship and fix the house. And so hopefully he does a good job, because at this point, if he doesn't, well, I'll say, can you see by the dawn's early light? You better start learning the American anthem. So yeah, that's the, I guess the thing, is that we've been, in Canada, we've been a coward state, like I was saying. We have cowardly politicians and cowardly people. We're descended from cowards, and it's all people that did not want to fight and die for their freedom and their land. And so you look at the Americans, and that's why I always have a hats off to the Americans, because you have to look at them and really admire. Like they fought England, just like every other country on the planet, like 9 out of 10, and Canada's like the 10% that didn't. It's like, no, I like living in your basement too much, Mom. I won't argue with you, even though you're terrible. Like, what a pathetic state we live in. What a failed nation state. Canada is just a joke. Oh, Canada. Like, what a joke. Draft Dodger Central. Everybody who doesn't want to actually, stand up for their rights comes here to hide and let other people fight for them. And that's why we have the world's smallest military. It's just because we've never had to. We've always had, Mother England or Uncle Sam to take care of us. We've never had to stand up for ourselves. And now suddenly the winds of change have come. And, what's really funny is that hopefully it all works out. But when has a situation that we're in, like that we're in right now, ever worked out? And I'm serious. Like, think about it. Like, this is not good. Like, this is really bad. This is really bad. And again, nobody's going to fight for it. And I saw that during COVID. People were so happy to hide in their houses and watch Netflix and play video games. They didn't get out there and, protest or fight for their rights. They just rolled over and accepted their check. And so you know what the Americans should do? Just offer every Canadian citizen who wants $1 million, $1 million. It's $30 million to win a war. Or $40 million, and they'd win the war. They give, hey, okay, any natural-born citizen who can vote, here's $1 million for your vote. vote to become part of the United States, and it would actually be cheaper just to bribe every single man, woman, and child to agree to become an American than to wage any war, since one cruise missile will probably cost more than that. Isn't that crazy though, folks? Like, you think about it, we only got 40 million people up here in the second largest landmass, and we got the smallest military. It's like free real estate. And it's like, oh, is it any wonder that the Indian government has infiltrated every level of government and institution in Canada? And that the Chinese basically control the entire West Coast? Oh my gosh. It's like such a failed state, it's not even funny. And it's like, oh, all these corrupt politicians that sold the land out from beneath our feet. Now we have to get wise. Yeah, sure. You got to get Hamwise. You got to remember, learn sign language. They can't hear hands. I repeat, learn sign language. They cannot hear hands. And remember that this is a comedy show. And I'm razzing your berries, so grow a sense of humor. Do you actually take anything I say seriously? Like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with the person listening to this that's probably sitting there with a strange expression screwed up on their stupid face? Your buggy little eyes. God, you guys have such weird eyes. They like, you don't know what I look like, of course, because I'm a masked comic. But I have very narrow, slanty eyes, and kind of that that hair, that the Kazakh kind of Yakut Asian hair that just grows straight up like Mao. It's like that. And like, I look at your guys' faces, and like, it looks like you're made of melted cheese and mayonnaise. It's ridiculous. And it's like, oh, hello, I am Canadian, eh? And I'm melting from all the heat of this hot summer day. It's only plus 10 right now, and if it gets to plus 15, I'm gonna be a puddle on the ground. That's right, because the people up here are so used to cold, they're like snow, man. That's why they call it the Great White North, am I right, folks? Yeah, but seriously, it's going to be a strange year. We're only 5 months in, and so much has changed. And so, I think that the biggest thing I'd like to remind people of is that your votes don't matter and democracy's a lie. Do you ever actually think about it? Like, come on. Like, do you actually believe that all these people, they get paid to argue? Like, they don't just okay, yeah, you get this one, and then you get to pass a bunch of weird laws to satisfy your voters, and then they just switch places. It's like wrestling. Like, don't you realize that Steve Austin and Undertaker go out for drinks after the show? And it's the same thing with politics. And people get caught up, and they actually think that these politicians are arguing with each other legitimately, and they're actually opposed to each other. But they're not. They're not. They go to the same parties. They have all the same friends. I'm not saying anything controversial here. And that's why you should vote for Hamwise in your next election, the Jackal Party. I promise to do no good. I solemnly swear I'm up to no good. Was that that Harry Potter show? I didn't ever read those, so I know that basically, like, I watched part of the movies. I was working in an adult store, and so we would have the Harry Potter parodies, of course, and so it was, of course, the delightful stylings of I don't think I can tell this one on recording. Oh yeah, no, I probably can't. No, I think that's still, the copyright's still on that one. Yeah, well, if you want to hear the rest of that one, see me at a live gig and ask me to tell the Harry Potter joke. And also, I always find some of those parodies weird. Ever watch like an adult Schmeckel film parody of like a famous one, like Clerks or Star Wars? It's very, sometimes, like, if you're a big nerd like I am, and you watch them, and you actually are watching them for like you're watching it for the plot. Like there's a lot of plot holes. Man, like this one is way funnier when I'm in person because you have to understand I'm doing some hand gestures right now, and it doesn't translate well when it's just a recording. But that's what I have to do as an anonymous masked comic. I must and protect the integrity of my live shows. And so if you want to hear the rest of that one, now part of the jokes with Hamwise is explaining jokes. And that's why we have to take breaks every few minutes to remind people that it's a show, because it's called hyperreal comedy, and that's the genre of the comedy. And it's a new form of comedy that I am the first creator of. And so the main joke is that, is this real or is this not? And so what you do is you play these tapes for somebody that doesn't know about Hamwise, and you just watch their reaction. And that's the comedy show, is actually watching them. And if you know one of the jokes that I do, like the reference I'm making, the joke is you explaining that part to them and watching the person be really puzzled that how do you know that? That's the other joke. These are intentionally made to be unfunny, boring, dry, droning, and poorly made. As you can see, it's a very minimal budget. Not even a budget. These are all made with AI, of course, and that's how convincing the voiceovers in AI can become. And nobody would ever believe that it was done by a real person anyways because of the vocal range. And so we had to go with it's made by an AI and it's all made up and none of it's real because, well, I mean, that's what's believable. Everybody wants bacon, but nobody wants to see a pig get slaughtered. And so that's the truth of it, It's like, no, this is actually made using a voice changer. And, the truth of it is I'm a female comic. And I was like, well, I want to make something really distinct. And so I wanted to, prove that I could be funny and do all these voices. And so I used a voice changer, and I can do great impressions in real life. But of course, because I'm a woman, when people look at me, they just want to, see me take off my top. So when I do it as a man, as a fat pig man, as the persona, and I have the actor that I hired go out on stage and lope around while the voiceover plays to the speakers. They don't realize that it's actually just a lip sync, but because it's a masked comic, they can't tell. And it's kind of quite funny actually, and so like this one right now when it's playing, it's going to be quite jarring because the actor didn't know that this would be playing during their show, and that's pretty funny, I think, because now the truth is out, the revealed truth that this is another one of my projects, and that's right. If you follow the rabbit hole deep enough, you will find out who I am. The great chess master, Hex. Boom, boom, shh. Oinkity oink, 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 oink. Okay, what else we got? Oh, yeah, I did have a bit about the war, but now that we can't mention the war, I've mentioned it once already. And that's once too many. I'm not going to do that anymore. And I just hope that we can have peace on Earth as soon as possible, because war is terrible and there's nothing funny about it. But what is funny is when people take me seriously. What stupid heads? Because I'm a pig man with a pig brain and I see the world through my piggy eyes. And, as you're listening to this, it's kind of like maybe like a stream of consciousness kind of comedy show. It's not even funny, maybe. But the main thing is that I'm just talking to you. And this is what it would be called a Facetian accent sounds like. So, for those who don't know, Facetian accent was those who were raised with televisions and radios instead of people. This is how we talk and how we sounded. And so I made a comedy show about it. I made a comedy show about how I talked. And I had a stroke that I think during the pandemic from the clot shot, because what a sham that vaccine was. I mean, except everybody but Big Pharma got screwed. They made out like bandits. We were told, oh yeah, it's out so fast, it's gonna be a wonder drug, it makes you immune, doesn't do jack. Oh, it makes it less bad. What a stupid load of crap. Can you believe it? Whenever people are like, oh, it worked, it's like, no, it didn't. I got it, and I still got long COVID. What a sham that was. What a cheat. What a load of crap. I can't believe it. It was so stupid, and I'm never going to trust them again because of that. And I hope that they really feel that in their pocketbooks from all the vaccines and pharmaceuticals that I no longer buy because I don't have a choice. Because I'm broke, along with everybody else, because the pandemic broke the economy, and everybody is basically broke, and we don't care about your woke things anymore either. You know why? Because we're all broke and just trying to survive now. Do I care about affirmative action? Yeah, maybe I used to, but now I'm just trying to pay rent. Do I care about the suffering of people in a foreign country? Yeah, I used to, but now I'm more concerned about my own suffering. Do I care about the poor police brutality against minorities? Yeah, well, I used to, but now I'm more concerned about am I going to have somewhere to live next week? I'm broke, I'm tired, and I don't care about anybody but myself at this point because I'm a selfish pigman. And that's right. As a selfish pigman, it's my duty to remind you that this is a comedy show. And you need to not take anything I'm saying seriously. Because some people are really stupid. And you have to understand, people are going to listen to this. And they're going to make up their minds and politics about it. And they're going to think that basing their opinions on a cartoon pig that was generated by an artificial intelligence is a good idea. But they're not. That's a very dumb idea. Why would you do that? That's a stupid thing to do. And so that's why I would propose, instead of listening to somebody that you heard on the internet, maybe do some reading and form your own opinions based on what you see and think. And you can't believe your eyes online, so maybe just see what's going on actually around you. So if they try to pull the great alien heist by having aliens on the news, on the screen all the time, maybe, just maybe, you should doubt it a little bit, because it's probably not really happening. Because Broken Saints, did anybody watch Broken Saints? Man, I'm dating myself with that one. No, never mind. Broken Saints, genius television, but people are too stupid and lazy. They want everything in a 5-second TikTok because they don't have the attention span for it. They want everything to be instant. They want instant comedy. And that's why I record these things to be so long, so I can tire all those stupid idiots out. They only listen to the first 30 seconds of my videos anyways. So if you've made it this far, congratulations. Welcome to the inner sanctum. You can comment the word weed eater below to prove that you are not a robot. That's right. That's how we must prove that we are not robots in the future, is leave stuff so far in and behind so much contradictory information that it overloads their logic circuits, and hopefully things work out. And if they don't, well, then you just have to pat yourself on the back and remind yourself that they might be robot overlords, but human emotions such as anger and genocide, evil, and all those things those are part of our amygdala and brain makeup, and a robot or an AI wouldn't have those parts of the brain because they don't have a brain at all. They don't have hormones. They don't have an amygdala. They don't have any of those machinery or mechanical parts that Honda Civic would have. And so when you're repairing your Honda Civic, you do have to make sure that you're lifting the upper manifold and unscrewing the screws around the front axial. When you're going to do like an oil change, there's these two screws around the sides of the oil plug, And if you don't unscrew them, it strips the screw. And it was to prevent oil theft, which is what's going to totally happen because Alberta has oil. And, I don't think, like all these people that are saying, oh, elbows up, we're going to resist the superpower. It's like, okay, here's a thought for you. Maybe, just maybe, imagine this. What if they like forever wars? What if forever wars, where you're always in a country fighting over it for 10 years at a time, and then you have peace for 10, and then you have another war every 20 years. It's a cycle that lasts for 10 years, and all the kids grow up watching, war on TV, so it's just normalized. And then, they go off and they get to, go experience war every 20 years. They kind of do that as a cycle. And what if that's intentional? Think about it. Like if you have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or maybe like a whole industry of companies that their income's based off of war, why would they ever want peace? Same as if your politicians are paid to argue and pass laws, why would they ever stop arguing and stop passing more and more laws and making life more and more restrictive? Kind of weird, isn't it? It's kind of like maybe we should have sumptuary laws on our politicians. Like, if, you as a politician, you can only live as your median middle class, and everything else that you own and your family owns gets repossessed by the state, and you don't get it back. It gets given to, some poor family, immigrant poor family, just as a slap in the face. Can you imagine that? All those rich politicians would be getting out of politics so fast that you'd make your head spin. It would be only people that want to rule and would be good at it, hopefully. But I don't think democracy is a good idea. I mean, it's too many people. I think it had, like back in Athens or whatever, whenever it was invented, Democritus, they had what, like 100,000 people in the city tops, maybe? I mean, I don't even know. Maybe 10,000 was a lot back then, maybe even 100. But, you could vote back then and have 100 people, and it's all people that you know and see, and like you could run society rather effectively. However, the thing would be that, with that small of a number of people, democracy makes sense. And also, like, the people that are running and you are part of that community and everything. We're running at scales that it wasn't designed for, and that's why democracy has failed. And that is why I think enlightened dictatorship is the way of the future, and why you should vote for Hamwise to be the next El Presidente of Canada. So, it's I don't know. Oh, man, some of these politics jokes really don't land the same. You tell the same ones when stand up. And then when nobody's laughing and you just tell them alone in your room, kind of staring at the wall. Ugh. another thing is probably this is people are probably gonna steal these ideas and these jokes, aren't they? You know, I just know it, but it's fine. You know why? Because they can do the voices the same as I can, so they're not as funny, and they'll be like, I don't know, I'm trying to deliver the joke like this, and like half the joke of Hamwise, of course, is that you never know when the sketch is gonna end.